Well, hi guys, welcome, and who dat? I'm Joe. Thanks for tuning in to Rosenfield 10, where I cover our beloved Bless You Boys in black and gold, the New Orleans Saints. And today, we're just going to be talking about the potential of the Saints drafting a quarterback. We're going to talk about how the Saints are the number one pick as of right now. And we're going to talk about the quarterback change, and we're going to talk about what ultimately should the Saints do. And my guess is as good as yours. I'm going to let you know my feelings on it. You let me know in the comments how you feel. I respond to my comments if I get a notification, and let me know what you think. So it's kind of a incomplete for me right now because I want the college season to continue, to finish, get the playoffs in. Let's see which one of these top ranked quarterbacks coming out in the draft are actually really good. So right now, from my estimation, it's been some fluctuation. So all the guys that I like have bad days. All the guys that have potential maybe need to turn it on a little bit more. It's just an incomplete for everybody for me. Now, the guy that can rise above to the top will be the guy that brings his team to the playoffs in college and wins a couple of games. It's going to be a guy who has way more better days than worse days, and there's a lot more evaluation to go before I can decide whether I want to take a quarterback. Right now, the number one guy is Fernando Mendoza. That's the number one guy on everyone's list right now. Indiana, I believe, is in the top five, maybe number two overall after Ohio State. And yeah, if Indiana can get in the playoffs and win a couple of games, that's going to say a lot about Mendoza, especially if Mendoza performs really well in those games. I mean, right now the measurables look all right. You know he can make the throws, and there's a lot of positives, and he's playing really well. But let's get it to crunch time. There's a couple of quarterbacks I like a lot right now. And, some of these guys may not even come out this year. Maybe half of these guys that we think are coming out this year won't come out till next year. Almost all of them are eligible to go back. Nussmeier's not eligible to go back. We're not all clamoring to get Garrett Nussmeier right now. His father's on the team. Wouldn't that be crazy if we spent our third round pick on Doug Nussmeier's kid? Well, we got a long way to go. So, first and foremost, Spencer Rattler. We've seen him for half the season. He's good. I like him. I think with a better team around him, you can get more wins. Now, you can probably get more wins from a free agent quarterback, too. I've been pondering the questions lately of what if the Saints would have been the team to go and get Daniel Jones? Or what if the Saints several years ago would have been the team to go and get Baker Mayfield? I mean, we did go and get Derek Carr, and, despite the fact that we were an average team and his stats were decent, we were really dissatisfied. So I don't see Spencer Rattler performing much better than that. As a matter of fact, if Rattler's your starter next year, you build a better team around him and you can get to 500, you're doing pretty good. This team's got to grow. Maybe Rattler gets better in a couple of years. Way better, more better, more better than now. He starts as a rookie. He's all right. See some promise this year. A lot better. Still not winning games. He's always on a bad team. Yeah, if you're on the Saints, you're on a bad team. Enter Tyler Shuck, and we got him for 9 games now. What does Shuck have to do to prove that he's the quarterback of the future? Win some games would be nice, especially with this team. We're 1-7 with Rattler as a quarterback. A lot of people can say the team's just not good enough. If Shuck goes in there and wins a bunch of games, let's say out of the 9 games left, he wins 4 of them. Everyone's going to say it's a weak schedule. That's why. It is a weak schedule. You got 9 games to go. We got the Rams this weekend. And then after that, come on. 2 from Atlanta. You got 2 from Carolina. 1 more from Tampa Bay. And then the Jets, the Titans, the Dolphins. Out of those 9 games, the Rams and the Bucks are the ones you would expect to lose. And yeah, there's 7 more that you can just absolutely win. You might be favored in half of those games or more than half of those games. The Jets, the Titans, the Dolphins, the Panthers twice, the Falcons twice. There's a scenario where you win all 7 of them. Wouldn't that be crazy if the Saints ended up 8-9 with Tyler Shuck? Like, well, that was what I was saying before. If you end up with Spencer Rattler as your quarterback next year, the team's slightly better because we have a whole other draft and free agency under us with a little more money, and then you get to even. Man, if Shuck can get us there, I would love to hear the Saints fans react to that. Well, Rattler would have won all of them too, is what the Rat Pack will be saying. I don't know what you guys like to call each other. I'm a Saints fan, so I'm all for the one that's going to get in there and win. So what happens if Tyler Shuck does get in there with a weaker schedule and starts ripping off wins? Some of you may think it'll be a false sense of security that Tyler Shuck is the quarterback of the future. You can't play a bottom of the barrel schedule every year. So Tyler Shuck wins a bunch of games against the Falcons, the Panthers. Hey, it might bode well for our division. But everybody else, you're still going to be wondering, if this team could make it to the playoffs in a couple of years, are they good enough to beat a playoff caliber team? Let's give Tyler Shuck some time. It's not like he's going to have 13 games under his belt. He's only going to have 9. And yeah, I'm kind of expecting him to win 3 or 4 of these games. The team. The team's got to get better too. I mean, they don't have nothing to play for anymore and all this other stuff. And we may be breaking the team down come trade deadline here in a week or so. And then, we have to start from scratch. We might miss on a bunch of draft picks, unlike this past year where we actually hit on a bunch of them. So, yeah, lots of caveats going on. But bottom line, you win a bunch of games with Tyler Shuck. Let's say you end up 5-12 again, like you were last year. Well, that's not going to get you the number 1 pick. Might not even get you a top 5 pick, especially since we're beating the bottom of the barrel teams. The teams picking in the top 5 are the teams we have to play on the rest of our schedule. So, yeah, there's a chance the Saints are out of the franchise quarterback lottery. If we're out of the top 5, I think it would be too expensive to trade into the top 5. I don't want to do that, especially for one of these quarterbacks. Like I said, we got a whole 2 months to go before I'll be settled on how I feel about these quarterbacks. And maybe there'll be a guy at the end. I like Dante Moore. I like Fernando Mendoza. I like Ty Simpson. I like John Mateer, but I don't think he's going to come out. And who else do I like? I like both kids from Texas Tech, but if you can get those guys in the 7th round. What else? Who else do I like? I mean, there's a bunch of them. The thing about Lenora Sellers is I just don't see it up here. I see the physicality like a Anthony Richardson, but I don't see the processing up here. Lenora Sellers has not gotten better this year compared to last year, and I didn't want anything to do with him for the last couple of years. Drew Aller is another guy who's a physical specimen, and I'm just not really interested in going after. He's got to perform a lot better than what he's doing right now. Neither one of those quarterbacks are performing good enough for me to get excited about. I'm not even sure if Ty Simpson, a guy that's playing really good football, is worth a first round pick yet or not. I'm not quite sure. I'm not there yet. I'm not there with any of them. But you'll be out of the race if you finish with 4 or 5 wins to end the season. I mean, like I said, this schedule's easy. You lose to the Bucks and the Rams, but you might end up ripping off 7 wins. It's not unheard of to think of the Saints beating Atlanta twice or beating the Panthers twice or not being the worst team in the league and beating the Dolphins, the Jets, who else? The Titans. So if we finish with a record that keeps us out of the top 5 in the draft, and you're having to spend money or you're having to hope that a guy you like more than everyone else falls to you, I mean, how are you going to feel about it? If Tyler Shuck ends up going, let's say something absurd. Let's say he goes 5-4, 5-4. or 6-3. Then you're drafting in the middle of everything. And this coaching staff may be convinced this is our player of the future, our quarterback of the future. That could happen. He's just got to win 2 or 3 games, and we might be out of that top five. So a lot of stuff I wanted to think about, talk about. I wanted you guys to let me know how you feel about all of it too. I mean, I want to have discussions about this. We're not quite there yet. Like I said, I'm at an incomplete. Fernando Mendoza wins the Heisman or ends up winning the national championship with Indiana, the Hoosiers. Then yeah, Fernando Mendoza will be the guy I want to draft with the top pick. And if Shuck and this team rips off some wins against bad teams for the rest of the year, I'll be able to put it in perspective. I mean, think about it. Shuck could be 300-yard, 3 touchdown passer by the end of the year against really bad teams. You're going to be excited. This team's going to be excited. Kellen Moore might be really excited. Another aspect is you do have 2 young quarterbacks on your team right now. You will have money in free agency if you want to address quarterback or whatever. This team needs a lot of help. So if you have the number 1 overall pick, that's a valuable thing to have for a team that needs so many parts. You have the number 1 overall pick, it means you lost everything, even with Tyler Shuck as your quarterback. So let's say we finish the year just losing the rest of the games. 2 wins at the most. You end up at the first overall pick. You're probably going to feel like a quarterback's the guy. Tyler Shuck could finish the year with the same kind of numbers as Spencer Rattler. And we could be saying the same thing about Shuck as we have been about Rattler. Well, the team lost all these games, but it really wasn't Shuck's fault. And if Shuck has a couple of really bad games, like Rattler did to end his starting streak, if Shuck has a bunch of bad games, you got to chalk it up as him being a rookie on top of maybe he's not good enough. I mean, even really great Hall of Fame quarterbacks have had days when they're a rookie. So I expect some bad days. I'm hoping to see some good days. I'm hoping the team wins when Shuck has good days. There's going to have to be some convincing here. So there's a chance we have the number 1 pick. You still feel comfortable with Rattler. You think if you give Rattler a better team, he'll be a little better, and he was pretty good for most of the season. Then you look at Shuck, let's say he produces the same. You might want to just use the value of that number 1 overall pick, trade down, and get a king's ransom. And we're talking about, 2 or 3 first rounders and a couple of second rounders and a couple of third rounders. And yeah, you could really revamp your team. You can almost screw up with all those picks and still get really good. I mean, this front office, you never know, but there's a lot of ways to look at it. I expect the Saints to finish, probably 4-13, 5-12, because I expect this team to win a few games. Now, if the team's playing with no energy and no oomph, and that's because we have such a bad record and there's, nothing else to play for, you already got paid, whatever. Yeah, then there's a chance we'll lose. And that'll tell me for sure we're the worst team in the league because you're going to be losing to the Jets, the Titans, and the Dolphins, and the Panthers twice. Jeez. And the Falcons twice. Come on. With Kirk Cousins at quarterback, I hope we get the Falcons with Kirk Cousins, the current Kirk Cousins at quarterback. That would be something. This team finds a way to lose those games, they'll be the worst team. And like I said, Shuck being all right, average, you just don't know. The Rat Pack wants to put Rat back in, build a team around him. People that see some things in Shuck may want to go that route. Man, just a 2-15 record, that screams draft a quarterback. So I'll be doing plenty of videos breaking down the college quarterbacks as well as all the other positions in college for players that are available for the draft. We're going to do deep dives on this channel about the draft. So subscribe if you're a Who Dat fan. Subscribe to my channel. It's all about the Saints. Everything will be from the perspective of a Saints fan, and I respond to my comments. So let me know what you think, and the Hudak family can have a family reunion, and we can talk football. And let me know what you think. I am an open mind, and I will I will consider everything. Because, like I said, I'm up in the air about it all. And until the next one, I'll talk to you later. Who dat?